You most likely don't ever feel sorry for James Comey, nor should you. But in case you ever have any kind of inkling or instinct to feel bad about Comey, just a reminder, who started it? Who started the vindictive, vengeful political targeting? It was actually James Comey, who, once disgraced and fired by Donald Trump, went on a speaking tour bragging about how he specifically targeted Trump administration officials to destroy their lives. Here's James Comey.
And so if the FBI wanted to send
talking
agents
about General
into
Flynn.
the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and it would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
The Libs laughed. This is him talking about targeting Michael Flynn. He would go on to say that he sent his agents over because he knew that it was early enough in the Trump administration. He could get around the rules. Trump didn't have his full team in place, and he was able to scalp Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, and erode one of President Trump's best protections against the deep state. Michael Flynn knows where all the bodies are buried. Donald Trump would most likely never have been impeached in the Russiagate scam had Michael Flynn still been in his office. So this was James Comey engaging in lawfare and in using his power as the FBI director to attack President Trump and his team.
Suggested that there are a range of factors.
Here's James Comey fetishizing what Donald Trump would look like as a prisoner in the federal penal system.
For the law enforcement institutions to put him in actual jail?
No, they would just put him in a double wide somewhere out near the fence, out in the grass. And he would eat there, he'd shower there, he'd exercise there, he'd be away, as Danya Perry said, from general population, but it's obviously doable.
It's obviously doable. You know, it's also doable is putting James Comey in a jumpsuit. James Comey is really tall, and I, have a feeling because he's a Swiftie, this would be the kind of jumpsuit that he would like. And James Comey is probably going to prison. James Comey is again been arraigned and arrested. Disgraced FBI Director James Comey is officially under arrest. They didn't frog march him. They didn't perp walk him like they did Bannon or like they did Peter Navarro, but he is in shackles right now.
Comey now being under arrest in the courtroom. He's going to be before a Comey is in the courtroom, and the hearing is starting now. The very first appearance of this
CNN
former
reporter.
FBI director accused of threatening the president's life with that post on Instagram a year ago with seashells in the sand. This is the first hearing that will happen in this courthouse, the Eastern District of Virginia. But this is a case that's charged in North Carolina because that's where that beach photo was taken. This first appearance, Comey now being under arrest.
I just can't. I just got to hear it again and again and again. Comey now under arrest. Please give me a mugshot. Former FBI Director James Comey has surrendered to law enforcement in a federal courthouse in Eastern Virginia. He's now under arrest, surrenders, and appears in court. Alleged threat against Trump. Okay, so here's what little birdies tell me. It's not about the seashells, baby. It's not about it. It's about him lying. It's exactly what he set Flynn up for. What they'd set Flynn up for is a perjury trap, right? So they had some detail or some little piece of information that maybe Michael Flynn, he was drinking, or perhaps he was like moving quickly and he didn't understand. This all has to do with a Michael Flynn call to a Russian ambassador named Kislyak. And anyway, the details are boring. The point is that the FBI put Flynn in a perjury trap. And then James Comey took advantage of the fact that there was no White House counsel at the time and there were no protections, and he started attacking Trump instantly before Trump was even sworn into office. And so what I think happened here is actually a perjury trap for James Comey. James Comey posting, of course, 86-47. And that they have him on some type of either technicality or some detail about what went on here. And just a reminder, James Comey blamed all of this on his wife. So this is a great question. The Secret Service dragged James Comey in for questioning on all of this. James Comey said time and time again, it was my wife. It was my wife.
Yeah, preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
Yep.
She looked at it and said, why'd someone put their address in the sand?
All right.
And then we stood at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would
Right.
86 something in a restaurant.
Right,
And
it's
I
off
said-
the menu.
Yeah. I said, no, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks, let's 86 it.
Right, I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk. Like, let's 86 them. Let's-
Got it.
You should take a picture of it. I said, sure. And then she said, you should Instagram that. And boom.
So there's like 20 different things that he could be lying about here. Like, for instance, the shells have his DNA on it. Did somebody go and take those shells? Did a federal agent go and like find those shells and then find James Comey's DNA on the shells? Will they be able to present that to the grand jury? The grand jury most likely didn't return an indictment based on just the Instagram post. I have a feeling that James Comey lied. Now, these are under seal. These grand jury proceedings are under seal. We don't know exactly what it is that they got James Comey on, but I would guess that it's a perjury trap. I would guess that it's James Comey lying about the circumstances here and that this is how they got him. It's amazing to see him under arrest. To hear CNN say he's under arrest. Why didn't 29 heavily armed FBI agents show up at his home at 6 a.m. to arrest him after sounding the alarm and storming his house after Newsmax was tipped off with a camera crew? That's exactly right. Remember, this is what they did to Roger Stone, who famously wore his Roger Stone did nothing wrong shirt during his arrest. That happened live on CNN. Why didn't you do this to James Comey? I'm a little confused. Like, why? Like, I thought this is the way that the feds did it. Like, this is a federal agent. Roger Stone's charged with federal crime. James Comey's charged with federal crime. Waiting for Comey's mugshot, like, come on, baby. I'm sure this will be handled with the utmost restraint. No dawn raids, no handcuffs, no battering rams, cameras, or theatrics. We only save that level of enthusiasm for truly dangerous types of journalists who founded Project Veritas or Roger Stone, right? Says James O'Keefe. Correct. Former FBI Director Comey projected to be arrested today. 67% chance. Just in the last few hours, James Comey headed for federal court. Florida approved red districts, 2A regulations gutted. This would be the Voting Rights Act. Supreme Court wiped out racial gerrymandering. Libs cry on every network again, and it's only noon. So people are obviously celebrating this. John Brennan, TikTok, they're going to come for Brennan as well. Man, I got to tell you, it's been an absolute remarkable day for the rule of law in this country. And Todd Blanche is doing sincerely doing God's work. I can't believe how good this guy is. And I'm really excited to see what happens next. As it seems like now they're actually really hitting their stride. And those who have been unbothered are unbothered by all of this. Mike Davis telling us this morning that James Comey will absolutely be convicted here. And that it's the end. James Comey knew exactly what he was doing. He was talking about killing a president, which is a federal crime. You cannot make threats against the president of the United States. That's one felony. To transmit those online is a separate felony.
The reason this case was so important, and I want to say hats off to Pam Bondi for starting this investigation many, many months ago, and hats off to Todd Blanche and Kash Patel, Trump's acting attorney general and Trump's FBI director, for bringing these long overdue, much needed charges after President Trump faced his third assassination attempt last Saturday, and the guy tried to carry out this third assassination attempt according to his manifesto because he was been inspired by hateful, crazy, partisan, false rhetoric by Democrat leaders like James Comey, for example. And so that is why it's so important, particularly if you're a former FBI director, particularly if you're a former deputy attorney general, particularly if you're a former U.S. attorney, for the grand jury in North Carolina to bring these charges, to send a message. This is not acceptable. The Democrats have created an assassination culture. They want President Trump dead. They want Steve Scalise dead. They want Charlie Kirk dead. Unfortunately, they succeeded there, but they have an assassination culture. They can't win debates. They can't win elections. And so what do? They just try to kill their political opponents. It's unacceptable. The Democrat political leaders like James Comey cheer this on. Wink, wink, nod, nod. They know they have deranged. Actually, I keep saying deranged. They're not deranged. These are everyday Democrats who are doing this. School teachers in California. This is today's Democrat Party. They are the party of violence.